Hello Flickers, and this is the final of our Star Wars original trilogy remaster comparison. What have we got?
Well, Final Frontier. Oh,
The wrong film. That's the wrong film.
that's the wrong franchise. Never mind. But yeah, so we've gone for the Return of the Jedi, and of course we're doing the original first, and then we're watching the remastered. And again, this is the same collection that I bought in 2006, which kind of ties us off nicely, really.
Return of the Jedi isn't my favourite Star Wars film by a long way. It's probably my fourth favourite, and even with that, what has been done to it is a bit of an atrocity. I think we kind of agree on the main atrocity. So do you want to go ahead?
The remastered one had this one particular scene where it was supposed to be dark, glooming and threatening, and ended up having a musical number right slap bang in the middle.
Well, a replacement musical number. The original musical number was it fit in with a slight party atmosphere that a warlord might have. They then decided to replace it with effectively...
No, that was fine.
That was fine.
It was a nice little bit of band music in the background, setting them, we're not just in this boring dungeon place and, all doom and gloom. We've got a bit of music in the background. That's fine. I'm talking about the musical number that was done with
the musical number they replaced it with, where they decided to very poorly add in CGI constructs which act like the worst pop stars you could ever possibly imagine.
I can imagine a lot.
You can imagine bad ones. It's terrible. Yeah. They've got names, they're in the lore now.
Yeah.
And it's horrible. I mean, this is the one scene which, for me, is the worst of every part of this remaster. There was no good reason to add them. It doesn't add anything to the film. It doesn't increase the story. It doesn't increase intention. It's horrible, and it's poorly done. Very poorly done.
It just gives me the creeps every time I watch it.
This is the image of the main singer.
Look at that! Look at that! What is that? Look, it's just. No,
and the especially bad part is it's not just a bad bit of CGI, but you can see how the image is overlaid amongst the actual actresses which were added in,
there.
And it looks terrible.
It's just horrendous. What is going on?
That's not the only bad bit. They add, because the band existed already, but they added these two extra characters in, and now the picture that'll be coming up now is the singer, which they for some reason decide has to scream at the camera. Which they're called
the funny little fairy dude.
He's right there, and he's
look at that.
It's just, again, it doesn't add anything, and it's just I don't know. It just kind of draws attention. There's a camera there, which takes you away from a story. I mean, why break the fourth wall in a film that isn't designed to have the fourth wall broken?
Exactly. Or the little... that's the other thing that drives me nuts as well. Is that to really cement it as if it's to say, no, this really is a scene that needs to be recognised and put in. There's a lovely little bit where Bobber comes along and goes like that against the chin of one of the backing singers as he walks through, as if he's a player.
Well, this is even worse because throughout the films we've seen Bobber as being this cold-hearted killer, and so why make him look like he's some kind of ladies' man?
Exactly,
it doesn't fit the character.
No disintegrations. Why? Then suddenly it's like stroke her chin. Hey.
No, this was. This was genuinely a travesty. I said before, I said in some of the previous films that the Star Wars films are so good that you can't ruin them. This is the closest it's come. I whilst we watched it again, I genuinely came close to just walking away while this bit was on, because it's just so horrible.
you did sort of stand up a couple of times adjusting yourself, and I was like, that's it. Just stay seated. Look, there's not much longer to go. Just stay seated. Oh no, sorry, it is another hour. So I guess adding those extra bits in was just to sell more figures.
I think that's blatantly what it was, because they got the toys out for the new singer really quickly. Although she does appear in the background in the original film. She was an original action figure, but they re-released it. Because the CGI obviously had changed her quite a lot, because she was very much in the background in the original film.
Oh, they they produced new action figures for the backing singers.
Yeah, that's it. And so I mean, the changes in this film were blatantly solely to sell more merchandising.
Although he does solely own the merchandising rights, so I guess we kind of know where your motivations lied, really, don't we? Yeah, and it is. There are certain things that really stand out, and it is because it's just the quality of the CGI replacement just wasn't great. It felt really rushed. Things like with the Sarlacc pit. The Sarlacc pit. It's called Sarlacc pit, not the Sarlacc beak. I've never understood that.
It didn't fit because when Boba Fett falls down and he falls down the gap and the beak's in the middle, how he wouldn't go in the mouth?
No, he did. Yeah, he didn't. His legs were on the outside.
Yeah, it's a very odd. I mean, I don't understand why he did that. The Sarlacc pit was. It was quite a horrifying thing, especially as a child when I first saw it. This big pit with all these teeth. It's a horrifying sight. Adding the beak did nothing to make it more frightening.
No.
If anything, it detracted. It looked like it was less dangerous.
Well, the other thing as well is that if you're. Oh god, here's a science bit. If you're talking about a creature that actually digests something over thousands of years, it means it doesn't need to exert a huge amount of energy. So having it sit within that pit, and obviously with the shallow walls and stuff, if something fell in, then that's fine, and it could survive for obviously thousands of years, just sat there. But because Jabba uses it as an execution point, then of course it gets fed quite regularly, which is nice. So having that beak come out and, do you think would waste a huge amount of resources for a creature if it's going to sit there for thousands of years?
Yeah, entirely correct.
Of course, when it decides to then go a little bit greener, yes, you know what we're talking about. When they decide to go to the forest moon of Endor, and it is. You do understand why it was done merchandising wise.
Yeah.
But story wise, I don't know if it was really that valid. I mean, I love them, and there are some real heart-wrenching moments. Well, one really heart-wrenching moment, which is when the sort of battle ensues, when the Ewoks are sort of going in and helping the rebels and everything, and all their primitive weapons with their catapults and tree trunks and all that stuff. When they start firing back, and there are some real big explosions, and some of them are running away, there's these two Ewoks, and it haunts me to this day. Two Ewoks. I was so close to crying this time as well, and even twice. Nice. But just as they're running away and that big explosion happens, they both fall to the ground, and you both think, oh no, they're both dead. And then one of them sort of, suddenly wakes up, reaches over, grabs the other one, runs away, and then realises it's not coming with him. So then goes back over and tries to move him, and then sits down, and you hear that poor whimper, and it's just like, oh, that's so bad.
They didn't fiddle with that section very much.
No, I'm glad.
Not I noticed anyway. I mean, I don't know.
They were just see. This is the thing. There was a lot of nice tidy ups, I think, with the CGI, because obviously everything was stop motion before or done with puppets.
Except, they did tidy up a lot of the CGI, and that's one of the bits we didn't mention before. Is there was a lot of the masking issues, which because early technology, they do clean a lot of that up, and it is a lot nicer. And they did do that in this, but there's one that they didn't fix. The AT-AT when it's taking Darth Vader in, that still looks very stop motion. I mean, that looked quite bad at the time, because I remember when I first watched the film, that looked out of place because all the others were quite smooth. Yeah. So it's very odd, and they haven't tidied that up any.
Well, especially with The Empire Strikes Back and how good that looked. To then put it in Return of the Jedi, but not actually, not to actually properly tidy it up.
No, it's very odd. Jumping ahead to the end of the film when the conclusion, and it was one of my favourite parts. What?
Akbar.
Oh, Akbar. Oh yeah. His mobility scooter.
It was brilliant. brilliant. It was really, really good. And that was one of the things that I love that they didn't muck around with it too much, other than the mobility scooter. But it did look weird. It looked really, really weird. Very out of place. Because the way that it was originally done, it was a suit, but only for the wide shots, and the mouth was moved remotely. But for the close-ups and everything, that was actually a hand puppet that was done. But with that, I don't know what was going on with that. They added a little bit in where he just looked like he was in a mobility scooter, which was just weird. Because you have the rotation round where he says about, it's a trap, and you just go, oh,
It's the iconic
I just love
line.
that.
The meme-worthy line.
Yeah, I love that. It's so good.
One of my favourite parts of the film is right at the end with the Ewoks singing. And they completely changed the song.
Yeah.
And the original song was, I think, very iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they changed that. And they add in lots more characters into it. Fine. Then they do views from around the galaxy where they found out.
Oh yeah.
They found out that they won that war on, I don't know.
They sent out a galactic telegram saying, "Hey guys, we've just blown up another Death Star.
Lol.
Guess what? We're free again. Whee!" Until another 3 films come along.
Yeah.
Another 2 films, and then they'll have another Death Star, won't they? Yeah. No, please don't do that.
It sounds like it's like it's one of the punch cards when you go to one of the coffee shops, and after 2 films you get a free Death Star.
Oh no, it's reset to 0 now.
Yep.
Because the last punch card was on the last Death Star, so that's it now. All done. Yeah, they have to start a whole new
punch card.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, so brilliant.
Maybe that's what Kylo Ren meant when he was saying he's going to continue what he started.
Again, with the ending, there was another thing that I did love, and I've heard quite a few people complain about it, which was the thing with Darth Vader at the very end, when there is the iconic fight which is between Luke and Darth Vader in front of the Emperor, and who will win, and whoever wins will then be the apprentice for the Emperor. But everyone kept on complaining about this whole thing that happened with Darth Vader, and the very subtle, because obviously you've got the John Williams score coming up and giving you the little emotional notes of what's actually happening. So you have Darth Vader looking at what's happening to Luke, then looking at the Emperor, and realising that he doesn't actually want that to happen. He doesn't want what happened to him to happen to his son. So you get that, and there's a couple of looks back and forth to the Emperor and to his son, and then you see him act upon it. But even though it's just a mask, the camera zooms in slightly, the score sort of rises, and you get those little peaks and everything, which gives you that emotional clips. You know what to feel and what's coming across from him, and then his actions, the fact that he actually destroys the Emperor, which was such a beautiful moment. But I've heard so many people say that in the later remastered, he says no twice apparently, but that's not in my remastered one. And whilst we were sitting down and going to watch after we watched the original, and we're going to watch the remastered, you were saying about your collection that you've got, because you've got remastered as well.
I have. My remaster is the first remaster they did. It was the very first DVDs ever released of Star Wars. And all they've done in my one is they've cleaned it up. There's a couple of tiny tweaks in there, but nothing to the degree of your remasters. So mine are kind of nice. They're not the originals, but they are the cleaned up originals. But there's been four releases? I think about 4.
I think that's right.
So there is one other remaster after ours, which we just, frankly, we can't face, because that one really does a lot of changes. Okay, so the biggest and worst change right at the end of the film, Luke breaks away from the crowd. He looks out, and the Force-powered people in his life reappear. So you've got Yoda, you've got Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then you have his father, now Anakin Skywalker. In the original film...
You mean... Hayden Christensen.
He is... They replaced the hologram of the original actor with Hayden Christensen. It doesn't make any sense, because when he died, he was older.
I mean, it is one of those scenes that you are seriously expecting Luke to turn around, and of course, and it's the way that they appear as well. So you've got Obi-Wan appears, so he's leaning against the log, and there's Obi-Wan. Yoda, and then Obi-Wan puts his hand on Yoda. Brilliant. And then this young guy appears, and you really would just turn around and go, sorry, where's my dad? Where's my dad should be there. Who are you? I've never met you. Who are you? So that was a no. The lore of the other two is that when Obi-Wan died, he died as himself. So that's when he died. So forever his image will be that as the Force ghost.
Yeah.
Apparition.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Leia doesn't see it.
No, that's odd as well, because we know that she does have Force powers.
Yeah, so surely she should see it.
She should have seen it. Maybe
again, that's another thing that's just weird.
Maybe she doesn't believe enough yet.
No, but she will.
But she will.
She will.
She will.
So yeah, so he appears. Yoda appears at the age that he died. So surely, well, we're 900 years you.
Yeah. 900
Look as good, will you?
No. Won't be able to tell how old I am, will you?
Yeah. Remaster, I remember. And then, so when Darth Vader dies, he should die at the age that he was. So his Force ghost would then last forever as that image, because that was when he turned back into a Jedi.
It's a terribly clunky way of attempting to justify the prequels, and that's what this is. This is literally a way to join the original films with the prequels.
Of all of the things that have been added in, that was definitely the worst.
Yeah, by far. Worst. Across the whole original trilogy remasters, that is the most pointless and worst part. Second, obviously, being the changes to Jabba's palace. So this film actually really did come off the worst.
That about wraps it up for our original trilogy, looking at the originals and the remasters. So, thanks very much for watching again.
Thank you.
Bye, Flickers.
Bye. Thanks for watching the video, and if you did like it, then please hit the like button. And if you want to see more from us, then please hit subscribe.
And don't forget to leave a comment below. And if you've got any suggestions for films that we should be reviewing in the future, please leave us a nice little message. Oh, and check out our previous videos.